Welcome back to another episode, guys. I apologize, I've been away for a little while. Like I said, I've been extremely busy. Just stepped over to be the cub master of our pack, and been kind of really busy with them. But recently I just received a cast iron pot from a friend of mine. And that's going to be my new project for this video. I'm going to end up restoring this pot. It's kind of something different from the numismatics or the cooking, but it's actually something that involves both. Because I'm also coins and collectibles. So I do collect cast iron, and I definitely use them quite a bit for my cooking. So let me grab the camera and I'll show you around, and I'll show you what my project is. So we'll be right back. Alright, so this tree here up top is my flat skillet for doing quesadillas and stuff. My 2 pie pans and my deep dish pan for frying. The pan on top of the casserole dish is one of the ones that goes back to the Boy Scout troop. It's one of the patrol's pans that I had to reseason. Another flat skillet for making pancakes and stuff, and then my casserole dish. Off to the side I have my 18-inch pan for larger meals, and then I have 2 regular sized Dutch ovens, camp Dutch ovens, for making cobblers. These are the 2 I use to make my cobblers for the Boy Scout camps. And then we have another tree next to the stove here that I use for all the stuff that I normally use. My little small pans for eggs, my sandwich press, and then a 12-inch pan for, or I apologize, an 8.5-inch pan for just normal stuff, and then I have a larger 12-inch pan down below. And then this here is my project. This is what I was given, quite a bit rusty, which will make it a definite challenge. I think this is about the rustiest I've received. I will get rid of all the excess rust and give it what's called the vinegar treatment. I just spray it down with vinegar, kind of a diluted vinegar, and let it sit for no more than a half hour. Then I'll come back with a soft scrubber and remove as much rust as possible and follow the same suit quite a few times until I get rid of all the rust. And then I will probably go through 3 or 4 seasoning treatments on it using olive oil. So we'll be back in a bit when I start cleaning it off. So starting up the next day, The first bit of the process is we're going to try to remove some of the flakiness. There's quite a bit of pitting. There's some dirt and spider webs and stuff. This is actually sat for a while. So I'm going to try to remove the flakiness and dirt that's on these. So let me go ahead and get started on that. So what I've done was mix 10 milliliters of water with 15 milliliters of white vinegar. That kind of puts it at about 3% acidity. Let me make sure my bottle's not spray. What you want to do is spray down the pot and the lid generously. What this will eat away at the surface rust that's there, because I've already knocked off all the flake rust, the standing rust on there. So we're going to try to eat away at the surface rust. And what you want to do is douse this down, come back and check it every 5-10 minutes for a half hour. At most a half hour, because after that the acidity starts to eat away at the cast iron. So we'll go ahead and start dousing this down. You want to come back and check this every 5 minutes to 10 minutes. Make sure it hasn't dried out. You just want to keep it as moist as possible with the vinegar water mixture. And for at most a half hour, I'm going to do probably about 25 minutes. That way something's not standing for too long while I'm getting rid of the other one. So we'll be back in probably about a half hour. So earlier I scraped off the standing rust with a steel wool. I know a lot of y'all were probably flinching at that. I didn't press down hard enough to eat into the metal. I was just getting rid of the standing rust on top. This process from here on, I'm going to be using a kind of like a Brillo sponge to be scrubbing these. They've been in there for about almost 20 minutes now. So, and when 20 minutes is up, I'm going to start with the lid. And then around 25 minutes, I'll start with the pot. So we'll be back in just a moment. Alright, so 20 minutes is up for the lid. What I'm going to do is just keep the acid on there for a moment while I scrub with the thing. Then I'll start running water on it. So let me put this in fast forward. We're back in a minute. so the lid is pretty well in shape. There's very minimal pitting. It's just the steam dimples that they cast into them. Still a little bit more rust to get rid of, so this will probably go through another vinegar soak. So we'll go ahead and set that off to the side and get started with the pot here. So you already saw the process I did for the lid. I'm going to do the same process for the pot itself. So we're not going to let you, or we're not going to make you go through this whole process, but I'm going to go ahead and scrub this down, get rid of all the rust, rinse it out, get rid of all the acid off of it. And I'll go and put them through a second vinegar soak. So we'll see you in a moment when I finish up after the second one. Alright, so these have gone through the vinegar soak and the scrub at least twice. I went ahead and removed the handle off the pot for right now just to get it out of the way. So what I'm going to do next, if you see the SOS steel wool back there with the soap, it's okay to use that type of soap on this. Just don't use a lot of cheap dish soap. Dawn is pretty good, but you use a little bit. So what I'm going to do next is go ahead and take those and start working on the lid, and I'll video that and fast forward through it. I'm not going to put you through the process of the pot because that will definitely take a while. So we'll be right back. Real quick, right before I go into that, I did find the first of the labels. If you see, this is a number 12 pot, which is 13.5 inches. I don't know if you see that in the center there. So I have the oven warming up at 250. This is after the first SOS scrub. I don't think I need to do another one with this one. The rust that you see on right now is what's called flash rust. And basically it's just rust that builds up when it dries real quick. So I'm going to go and put this in the oven and let the water bake out of it. Just go ahead and put it in there and let it heat dry in the oven for a few moments. So I'm going to go ahead and SOS the pot, and we'll be back in a little while. Alright, so far after 2 vinegar soaks and scrubs and 1 SOS scouring, it's looking pretty good, coming back to shape here. If you see on the bottom here, like right there, there's some rust spots that are still pitting. So I'll end up taking these outside and go ahead and sand them. We'll start off with an 80 grit paper and finish off with a 220. We'll try to get those pits out and try to get down to bare metal. So we'll be back in just a bit. I'm in heaven. Went to Cracker Barrel to have lunch. I usually pick up a little sweet on the way back. Candy corn flavored red vines. I know I'm weird, but I do like candy corn. I like red vines. Definitely going to enjoy these. So after a little bit of hand sanding, a little bit of water and sandpaper, I'm down to bare metal, and I've gotten rid of most of the pitting. Also, forgive me, I'm changing hands here. On the bottom, I got rid of the tape residue, and I've gotten down to some bare metal down here. There was some buildup of rust on the bottom. So I'll take this in, get it dried off, and get ready for seasoning. Back in a bit. Alright, now for the longest part, the seasoning process. What I'm going to do is use olive oil for this. You don't want to use an excess. Olive oil has a medium smoke point. And we're going to cover the whole pot and lid with olive oil. I'm going to go ahead and put a concerted amount at first. Or should I say a large amount first. You want to use a rag that doesn't leave behind lint. Terry cloth works. Anything cotton, you can use old sleeves of a t-shirt. Make sure you get the oil all down in every single nook and cranny. It doesn't have to be a large amount in each little surface. You just want to make sure there's oil in all surfaces. So we are definitely going to need to add more oil in a moment. This is a terry cloth dish rag. It's definitely going to be able to cover the inside of this, but I may need to add more for the outside. You kind of want to look for certain oils that have different, or have medium flash points. If you don't want to bake this at a high temperature, I normally bake it at 500 anyway. But the smoke point for olive oil is around 375. So really you only need your oven at I'd say about 425 or so. And you're going to bake this for an hour. And yes, it's going to cause a lot of smoke. If you have ventilation in your house, best to open it up. Or if you have any vent fans like in the bathrooms or in the hallways or anything, go ahead and turn them on. Like I said, this will smoke up the house. Let me go ahead and get the outside of this. So let me go ahead and coat everything up, and we'll be right back. So as you see, these are well seasoned up. You really don't need to put a lot of oil on, just enough to cover the surface. If there's any pulled up or anything, you make sure you take another rag, just kind of wipe it off. Make sure oil gets down to the little dots and everything. I can actually see a few that didn't get it, so let me add some more to it. Make sure some of the dots get the oil down in it. So, I mean, it almost looks like it's ready right now, but no, it still hasn't even gone through its first seasoning yet. But it's definitely a lot better than what it was. As you can see, I mean, definitely got that black sheen to it. Once it gets the oil cooked in and everything, once it's seasoned, the oil actually feels like the glass. Soaked in a little bit of the oil. I just want to go ahead and put another coat on it first. But as you can see, all the pitting is gone. There's a little bit of rust spots, but that just flash rust. That will disappear underneath the oil, the seasoning and stuff. So right now my stove's at 400, so I'll go ahead and put these in there. Like I said, they sit for an hour, then you just turn the stove off and let them sit for another hour to cool down. Bring them out, recoat them, and repeat the process. We're going to do this 3 times, so it might end up tomorrow once I do the last one. Alright guys, so I apologize. I skipped the first seasoning procedure. This is after the second seasoning procedure. The first one still showed a little bit of surface rust, but it's finally cleaned up quite a bit. Definitely not the same looking pot that it started off as. We're starting to get that kind of that shiny black look to it. So I'll go ahead and put it in for a 3rd seasoning, and we'll call it. After that, if I need to, I can put it in for a 4th seasoning. So let me go ahead and let that cool for a second. I'll put some more oil on it and set it back in for another seasoning process. Alright, so I'm pretty sure you hear the coffee maker in the background. This is the next morning. I let it kiln in the oven overnight. 3 seasoning sessions, and this is the final result. I will show what it looked like before and looked like after. So please leave a thumbs up if you like what you saw. And until next time, have a great week and a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.